Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, where we push our low-end PCs to their absolute limits. Because why should the big boys with their RTX beasts have all the fun? Today, we're diving into the grim, dark future of the Warhammer universe with Warhammer 40,000. Space Marine. Can this 2011 classic still run on a potato in 2024? Well, I've got my trusty old i3 ready to prove its worth. Grab your bolters and let's dive in. Alright, so first things first, let's talk settings. I've cranked this bad boy down to 720p, set every graphics option to low, and crossed my fingers like I'm about to roll in natural 20. And guess what? We're getting a solid 70 to 80 FPS. It's like my PC suddenly found the Emperor's blessing. The game runs smoother than a greased-up orc sliding down a warp tunnel. Now, let's talk about the meat and bones of this classic, Warhammer 40,000, Space Marine. For those who've never laid hands on this gem, it's a mix of a third-person shooter and hack-and-slash action that perfectly embodies the brutal spirit of the Warhammer universe. Think Gears of War, but instead of cowering behind cover like a scared guardsman, you're a hulking, power-armored beast who says, "Cover is for the weak." Here, you charge headfirst into danger, because that's the only way a Space Marine knows how to say hello. What makes Space Marine stand out is how it doesn't shy away from the raw, visceral combat. You've got guns that roar with every shot and melee weapons that crunch and smash with the weight of a dreadnought's footstep. When you're mowing down hordes of orcs, it's a pure adrenaline rush, like a caffeine-fueled dream where chains words are your lullaby. And when I say hordes, I mean hordes. These greenskins must have all been late to the whack, because they just keep coming, and it's your job to send them packing back to Gork and Mork. Combat in this game is not just about shooting from afar. It's about getting up close and personal. You know that feeling when you're low on health, and instead of hiding, you charge right into a bunch of enemies to perform a brutal execution move and regain health. That's Space Marine in a nutshell. It's risky, it's bold, and it's absolutely satisfying when you pull it off. Then there's Captain Titus himself, the star of our show. The story has all the trappings of the 360 era, complete with the gruff male protagonist vibe. Yet there's something endearingly old school about Titus. He's got that hardened, no-nonsense attitude we love from our Space Marines, but he's more likable than some of his contemporaries from that era. Think of him as the kind of guy who'd buy you a drink right after smashing your face into a wall. But let's be honest, not everything has aged like fine wine. There are definitely a few relics from the 7th generation lurking in here. The quick time events, QTs, are a prime example. I mean, does anyone really miss mashing buttons like they're playing a rhythm game to finish a boss fight? Some of these sequences have you staring blankly at the screen, waiting for something, anything, to happen. It's like the devs thought, hey, maybe the player needs a moment to just exist. But come on, I didn't sign up for an existential crisis. I came here to purge some heretics. Speaking of dated, let's talk about the pacing. The game does this thing where it gives you long sequences of walking with little to no combat or even dialogue. I get it. Sometimes a Space Marine needs a breather. But for us gamers, these moments feel more like waiting in line at the administratum than being in the thick of battle. Thankfully, these are few and far between, but when they hit like a bolt gun to the immersion. Now, multiplayer? Oof, where do I begin? If you're thinking about diving into the multiplayer in 2024, I've got news for you. It's emptier than a Tyranid hive fleet after the Ultramarines have had their fun. The player base is deader than a Necron who skipped a few millennia of morning routines. And even if you do manage to find a match, it's like your inputs are traveling through the warp to get to the server. Lag, host migrations, rubber banding, you name it. The only thing that doesn't seem to migrate is your patience. So, Should you play Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine in 2024 on a low-end PC? Absolutely, but with a couple of caveats. First, please, for the love of the Emperor, don't pay $60 for this. Wait for a sale. I don't care if the game is wrapped in golden Aquila feathers. No game approaching 15 years of age should cost as much as a new AAA title. But if you find it on sale, it's a no-brainer. For 8 hours of visceral, unapologetic fun, Space Marine delivers the goods, no fancy graphics card needed. And honestly, if your PC is anything like mine, an underdog that's seen more than its share of battles, this game will make you feel like you're wielding a power sword and shouting for the Emperor, all while barely breaking a sweat. Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe for more low-end PC adventures. Got a game you want me to test on this potato of a rig? Drop it in the comments below. Until next time, keep your FPS high and your graphics settings low. Enjoy the rest of the gameplay.
Antioch?
Yes, my lord.
We have word that an Inquisitor is in the Manufactorum.
Yes, Lord Drogon. We have not seen him for several days.